Well, hello and welcome to the TRL virtual footy show on this Wednesday, the week, a few days before the Anzac Day, and we've got a panel of scallywags join us again this week. Let's go through them. My lifelong friend and co-commentator, former State of Origin player, Cherry Cook. How are you, Cookie?
Yeah, great, Obee. How are you?
Yeah, really good.
Neville, Campo.
How you going?
Calvin.
Yeah,
how are we all?
Good, Terra.
And over to a name synonymous with rugby league, and Nev Cherry. How are you, Neville?
Mate, I'm going good, Obee. I just want to know when I can drop the synonymous and become a lifelong friend also. G'day, guys. Are we all team members or teammates, Obee? I haven't worked that one out either.
We're just all scallywags, mate. That's all we are. And also another lifelong friend and absolute Hawks legend, a late call-up and
Life
member of the Gatton Hawks. What I like about this guy, it is his 42nd wedding anniversary. And the best thing about it is that I only gave him 5 minutes' notice. He had no hesitation to leave Barb in the lounge room. The one and only Kelvin Hawke. How are you, Kelvin?
Yeah, great, thanks, mate. Good fellas. Yeah, we did have, in all fairness, we had a unit booked at Broadbeach, but unfortunately that went by the wayside. We'll have to wait until the. Yeah.
Obee will be able to renew your vows in a couple of months, he reckons.
Yeah, I'm doing the marriage.
Won't that be a torturous? Ceremony?
Shut up, Cookie. I can do your funeral as well. It might be sooner rather than later, you idiot. Hey, now, and over to a legend himself, international and Queensland rugby league. What am I doing? Rugby league, absolute legend himself, the one and only, a regular on the Obee Cookie call, Kevin Campo. How are you, Campo?
I'm great, Obee. How are you, boys?
Great
to be here tonight, that's for sure.
And international. He's an international rugby league player. Not many can say that. Not many can say. Doesn't matter. Not many can say they're an international.
Well, it was an international game over in England. We didn't treat it like an international.
Did you win?
Guys, before the
can't remember. We're too drunk.
Straight into the NRL and the topic. It's going to be a long show tonight. But into the topic, and I ask all the panel members about what a question they were going to ask Peter V'landys to bring on the show. But since that question, Todd Greenberg has forced his hands. And seeing you're our man on the spot, over to you first of all, Campo.
My question for Peter V'landys? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, and also your spiel on the whole situation.
Oh, look, disappointing that Todd had to. I think he probably forced his hand to resign. But he's done a tremendous job over the last couple of years, and a man under pressure from day one. I think. It'd be a tough gig to come into and take over the reins as CEO of the National Rugby League at the moment. I'm not sure who they even thinking of or who's even put up their hands. So I'm hoping that my old teammate Mark Coyne would be one of the guys who puts up his hand. Tremendous person for one, and very business minded, and I'm sure he'd be capable of doing a great job for the NRL.
And Peter V'landys.
And he's rugby league through and through, Campo.
Mate, yeah, great name, especially up here in Queensland. But he's been a CEO in a number of positions that he's held over in his business life. So it's something that I think he would be, he's
ideal.
Ready made for, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And your thoughts, Terry Cook?
Well, the first thing I'd ask V'landys would be a policy with juniors and bush footballers that there'd be a trust account And instead of that 140 million they wasted over 10 years, I'd like to see 10% of that put away into a trust account that would look after the juniors and the bush footballers and their insurance. Because a lot of young fellas are lost to the game because they're workers and they can't afford the insurance that covers them if they're off work.
Yeah, very, very good.
Especially the tradies. It's the tradies.
And your thoughts on the Todd Greenberg hand being forced, Cookie?
Yeah, good, because he wasted money. As the paper, that you get found out eventually, 140 million over 10 years. You can imagine how good that would be as an investment for the game somewhere. I'm with Campo. A true Queenslander coining would be sensational.
The question that I was going to ask Peter V'landys was, for one, who dresses him, for one, because he's a very ordinary. He looks like you back in '92 up in Melbourne's, Cookie, the way he dresses.
That's right.
With the slick hair.
You talk about that $140 million that that has been wasted by the NRL, but I think transparency is the question that I would ask of the people coming in. Live streaming all of their meetings, so there's full transparency of what's been said and what's going on in the league, and and it makes them accountable for their actions and what they're speaking. I just think the people deserve it, or the supporters deserve it. That's for sure, because wasting $140 million is just mind blowing. I just can't believe it.
Sinful.
Your thoughts, Nev Cherry?
Mate, I like this V'landys. I like that he's swift and he's direct and he's in there to do a job. If I had to ask him a question, it'd be, where's the game headed? Like, we've had great growth over the last 4 years, but we need to go to that next level. If we truly want to be a game that's seen on the world stage, we need to go to that next level, whether it's a restructure of the competition. And I think this guy's the man to do it, but I just finished watching the news there and they asked him about taking Todd Greenberg's job, and, mate, he jumped away from that really quickly. He wants nothing to do with that. So I'll just go back to Todd Greenberg. If you remember 4 years ago when he came into that job, the people that are crucifying him now are singing his praises. I can't remember who the fellow was. Was it Smith, a Pommy fellow that was in there before him? But, mate, he had to go and we had to bring this Greenberg in and he was going to fix all problems for rugby league. 4 years later, as passionate as we are as supporters, mate, we're really cruel on our own people. And I think he's done a fair job, Greenberg, but just, mate, whoever they come up with next, we just got to be careful. Like, we build them up, and then pull the rug out from underneath them and see them fail. And everyone lines up to bag them. But as anyone knows, in an administration job within rugby league, mate, it's a tough gig. So, yeah, I'm still out a little bit, Obee, as to who's the right person for the job. But I do like this V'landys. I think he's a great leader.
Kelvin Hawke?
Yeah, well, as you know, I'm a Greenberg supporter. As Nev just said, 4 years ago, he came in and he's done a great job, I believe. He obviously he's part of the persons who squandered the money, but he had a commission that he had to answer to, so I think they've got a lot to answer for as well. I think V'landys is good, but my question to him would be, and I think it's a sad state of affairs because I think Todd Greenberg has done a good job, but my question to Peter V'landys would be, how much did Channel 9 and the players' reps have influence over Todd Greenberg's demise? Because I think it's a sad state of affair if it comes to media having that kind of power.
Yeah, look, I agree with you there, Kelvin. I do think myself is that, like, I think there's some positives come out of this, and I don't think that Todd Greenberg's head should be on the chopping block per se, because I was privy, as I was saying, I think last week, to conferences where John Grant was involved, and they were knocking their heads up because the NRL clubs were just so greedy and wanting a piece of the pie, and there was nothing left for us guys. And I think all you guys have been around for a long time. We've been talking about that. He tried hard. Remember that we had some changes in the rules, simply brought on by deaths and paraplegic stuff, and we had the bunker. He oversaw that, and I think that was all pretty smooth. And you go back to what you said, Neville, is that when David Smith, who was a POM, he didn't have much experience. He was a banker when he was boss, but prior to Todd Greenberg. And we did scream out for a football-based, knowledged CEO. And that's what we got.
Correct.
Now, I believe, certainly, being an old banker, I do think that the money, if it comes in well and it's going well, everything else looks after itself. Your thoughts, Camper?
Well, I didn't sort of follow Todd Greenberg that well, but looking back from his past, he was CEO of the Canterbury Bulldogs and didn't leave that place in too good of a state when he left that. So it's not surprising that the NRL is in the state it is today, just from Greenberg's past. Yeah, and there's a question I have to ask is how much is the women's competition cost the NRL to get up and running? They've been pushing for that for a number of years, and that's got to be a fair whack out of that 140 million to set that up as well.
Yeah, I think Cookie's gone offline there. Your thoughts, Neville?
Obee, I've been daydreaming, but mate, if you're talking about the money side of it, that's correct. Like, it all starts at the top, and we are a game of money. We generate a huge income. Players are paid a lot of money too, and they expect a lot. So it's a hell of a job, and it's a tough job. But we are talking a lot of money, and I guess where Channel 9 comes into it, they're the one that's footing the bill, that's putting the money out there so that we do have a world-class competition. So, mate, if they feel like they're not getting the results they deserve or the ratings they deserve, I can see why they've sort of jumped in to flex their muscle, I'd say.
Yeah, I think it's a business, the NRL, and you guys are being in business and so forth. And, you can't go in and tell someone how to run their business. You can influence them if they've got a lot of money, because there's plenty of other Channel 9s out there back onto what you were saying, Kelvin. But let's keep going on more positive notes. So the governments, both New South Wales, Queensland and Victoria, have said, rightio, we'll give NRL the go-ahead on the 28th of May. Good to see that happening there, Terry Cook.
Yeah, no, it's all full steam ahead that the game's going ahead, because the public really needs something to cling to. And rugby league's always been there through thick and thin. And they will always, it just gives people hope. So I think it's starting, we're on top of the curve and all that sort of stuff, and we're going back the other way. So they'll have certain protocols in there that the players will have to adhere to, and the fans will have to adhere to, and it all looks rosy for that date. So.
And Kelvin Hawke, it was great to see V'landys come out and said, look, there's going to be even stricter social distancing laws when they do come in, because, as he said, it might only be for 2 or 3 weeks that the players as a whole in Sydney will be isolated before they're more relaxed. And it's happening and changing every day, isn't it, Kelvin?
It sure is. I haven't seen much of this afternoon. I just saw the message come through that she's a go-ahead for the 28th of May. And that's great, but I haven't really followed up today on what was said, so I can't really comment. But it'll be great to have the football back, and interesting to see how it works. They haven't mentioned a draw yet, anything like that?
No, I was going to ask you, Campo, have you heard anything of a draw or anything coming out?
No, mate, no. Only what you guys have heard. Yeah, look, the 28th is the date that everyone's coming back together. So I think they've ticked that box, and I'm sure over the next week or so the draw will be coming out, I'm sure.
Yeah, Campo, one thing we forget is that we are athletes, Oh, well, it's not me, but the NRL athletes were surrounded by pretty healthy conditions and so forth. So they're going to be clean and hygienic, irrespective of this virus. So I think we can be pretty confident. But then what really has perplexed me, Campo, is that there's 17 players playing and they're coming together very regularly. Just got a bit of feedback there, Cookie. If you could maybe
the bar's full out of Condarian. I was listening to Obee. They're getting to keep their points. They got all the sides that won in those first 2 rounds get to keep their points. They said nothing about a draw, but
that's right. But I was saying, Kim, we are athletes, so we should do it pretty well.
I don't think they should keep
it. Who are you talking to?
Oh, you now, Cookie. Campo's got no idea.
I can't hear this. Background.
Yes, I think they should keep their points. They started the season, and I just think the for and against shouldn't count, though. I just think they should keep the 4 points, or keep the points table, and it just starts afresh on the 28th. But the for and against shouldn't count because that should start at 0.
Well, you've got money on the Titans to win the comp or something.
I have.
And your thoughts?
And they might sneak into the 8th with for and against.
Looks like it's going to be a sprint to the finish, just a 1-round premiership. But your thoughts, Neville, and also comment on keeping the points, yes or no?
Yeah, no, I like the idea, just 1 round, even though I'd like to see the footy go right up till December. And, mate, I think, keep the points. I think that's the right call. Otherwise, we'd never hear the end of it. Like, it is the 2020 season, and irrespective of what's happened, it is 2020, so keep your points and let's all move on. Go on to round 3.
Kelvin Hawke?
No, I was only tongue-in-cheek when I said don't keep the points because the Bulldogs are on 0. So that's why I wanted to come back and start again. But seriously, no. They've got to keep their points, I believe. I know what's his name, Nick Politis came out and said that the Roosters rested players, and had they known it was a shorter season, they wouldn't have done that. That is a bit of a problem. But also, you've got to look at the guys who bashed themselves in those first couple of rounds. I think there was a knee reconstruction for one guy, wasn't there, and a suspension for the Broncos rough man. So you've got to, if you give the points back, those kind of things count for nothing.
Yeah, exactly right. Now, Campo, I was going to ask you, especially with the not much income coming the first half of the season for NRL, there's been talks about going back to just 1 referee, don't have the bunker. That'll save costs as well. They're going to play to no people in the crowds for a while. Do you think it's an opportunity for the NRL to be streamlined that way?
I think so, mate, and that's the way I would go. I would just have the 1 referee on the field and just simplify the game as make it as easy to watch as possible. And that's what the fans want. They just don't want too technical or the referee ruining the game. I just think, the one referee, no bunker, would be the way to go.
Yeah, hit the nail on the head, didn't he, Nev Cherry?
Mate, he certainly did. And that's what it's all about. It's all about that dollar. It's about that advertising, about bringing people to the game. So I can't see, being a purist, I love when referees, even if they did make a mistake, and even the players can adhere to this, that make a mistake, move on, everyone got on with it. And I think having the bunker there, it really puts the emphasis on, and people get caught up on that mistake instead of just enjoying the moment and keep the game going type thing. So, mate, but it's here to stay. I agree with Cook. It's here to stay, the bunker.
It's not the referee's fault, though. I don't blame them. Like, we have some really good refereeing, but it's taken out of their hands. So.
Yeah, one thing I do like is...
And they're a very important part.
Is the uncertainty of the contest. There's nothing better than going to work on a Monday and having a cup of coffee and arguing about whether a team was offside all day and so forth. And that's the essence of the league as well. You're going to have... We have whether they think they're offside, whether there's two referees or not, don't we, Kelvin Hawke?
Yeah, I'm a one referee man, but I'm a fan of the bunker. But I'm not. And we spent a lot of money on the bunker. A lot of that we're saying is that money was spent. That 140 million. I dare say there was quite a few of those millions went into that bunker. So we've got the technology there. I just think it's got to be fine tuned a bit. But I think the bunker's a good thing. I don't think the referee should go upstairs having an opinion. He should just send it up to the bunker. If he thinks he can award the try or something like that, award it. Otherwise, goes to the bunker with no opinion. But definitely one referee.
Yeah, but certainly Campo with that bunker. Yeah, I think if anything, it's just got to be shortened, the delivery of it.
Yeah, it's 30 seconds tops. Get in, get out. But I think the main referee on the field has got the final call. He should be able to, that's what they do as well. They train and they're on $250,000 a year. These referees, and they train like a player, week in, week out. So they should be sharp enough and on the spot quickly enough to get these decisions made early enough to keep the game flowing.
All right, round the
Can
panel.
I just come back in then? Can I just come back in for a minute?
Yes, Kelvin, yep.
We're talking about the referees and the bunker. How about the touch judges? The way they go, we don't need them. There's a saving. What do? Forward passes.
Put their flag up.
Terry
get
Cook.
that wrong.
Well, that's it. You need the
Terry
bunker
Cook.
just to watch the sidelines, don't you? Get rid of the sideline referees. Someone's got to go.
Your thoughts, Terry Cook?
Someone's got to go. Oh no!
But seriously,
truly, you got to have officials, but I just wish the league would give it the decision making back to the referee because the bunker controls it at the moment. And obviously, that goes down with the cash, I suppose.
Hey, Cookie. All right. What team's going to benefit? And, who's on track to win the grand final with a one-round sprint to the grand final?
Oh.
Well, you'd have to go Melbourne. They're specialists. I think they're primed, like their system's foolproof. Melbourne would have to be. East will be up there, the Roosters. And Titans is a sneaky.
Kelvin Hall?
Okay, man. Have faith, brother.
I really like Penrith. I think Penrith have got a great forward pack, and Cleary's just starting to hit his straps. And I know at the start, I was watching Ivan Cleary last night, and he said that the big fella, what's his name, the second row, was a bit injured. That's why he started off the bench in the first round. He's had his time off now. Kick out. He'll come through and he'll tear them apart. I think they're the side to beat the Panthers.
Nev Cherry.
Mate, I'll go Manly. Obee, Des Hasley thinks out of the box, comes from left field, and mate, he'd be churning away. He's been an innovator for over 30, 40 years, and I can see that. I reckon Des Hasley will have something up his sleeve, so I'll go Manly.
And before you answer, Campo, I hear that the broadcasters are thinking of broadcasting at Belmore and Leichhardt just to save cost because there'll be no crowds there. Campo?
I'm with Tara. I think Melbourne. They've been the best, most consistent team over the last. I think. I know. East got away with a win last year, but probably didn't deserve it. But look, Melbourne for me.
All right, guys. Well, I think we'll take a commercial break, and on the other side, we'll talk all things QRL, Intrust Cup. We'll bring some updates from the Toowoomba Rugby League, and we'll go to commercial break. I thought it was the best interview all year last year. Young Nick, I think his name Nick or Nat Kuhneman Neville. What's his first name?
Nicholas, Scotty's young fella. Yep.
And it was fantastic to watch. Let's go to the commercial break. This is the Toowoomba Rugby League Footy Show.
Nev Cherry for the Toowoomba Rugby League here at the prestigious President's Cup for our 100th year celebration. And made a name synonymous with the Southern Suburbs Club. Kuhneman, young Nick Kuhneman, mate, he's went down today, but he's played a wonderful game in the right spirit.
Yep. Yeah, we've got a great team. We've all got good spirit. We all love each other and we play hard for each other, but today it wasn't enough.
Nick, you certainly enjoy rugby league. I remember seeing you at the footy out there at Oakey with your dad. Scott, mate, you're your little fella playing under sevens. The Kuhnemans have made such a great contribution to rugby league on the Downs.
Yeah. Dad was a great fella. He was a mate to everyone. He was my best mate and he did great things for a lot of people.
Mate, he certainly did. And even going back one step further, he's your granddad, made great rugby league people for the West Club and the Southern Suburbs Club. Mate, it just doesn't end. You're related to Peter Gill, you're related to Glenn Kuhneman, Paul Kuhneman, mate, it's football through and through. Can you tell me what rugby league means to you? You've been through a bit of a hard time, but the support you would have got from your mates would have meant the world to you.
Especially, like, boys from other clubs, South especially, they're all my best mates, and they all love Dad. They remember Pop, Nana and Pop, and Nan and Dar, and Peter, Paul and Glenn. Yeah, they all got a great family and got great mates.
Mate, you spoke very well. Nick, we look forward to seeing you go the rest of the year, buddy. Thank you.
Catch up on all the latest news, sport and entertainment from around the region on Toowoomba's own online television station, PTV Channel O, home of the TRL Footy Show. Find us at ptvchannelo.com or take us with you by downloading the PTV Channel O app. Discover a whole new world of entertainment at www.ptvchannelo.com.
Crazy Kevin on the radio.
powerfmradio.com.au.
Every week on PTV Channel O, we take a frank look at computers, the internet and social media on Switched On IT. Join our international team of experts every Tuesday at 7 p.m. to learn what makes the internet and social media tick and how to keep your business safe online while making the most of this exciting media. Discover a whole new world of entertainment Tuesday night at 7 p.m. on ptvchannelo.com or download the PTV Channel O app.
Yeah, well, welcome back to the TRL Virtual Footy Show. It's nice to have you watching, and with our panel here, it's over to the QRL, and I've got a few probably interesting questions because now that the curve is going down and football's going to start, we obviously all agree on that. But QRL had made the announcement to actually not have the Intrust Cup. Let alone the lower grade Mal Meninga Cup and the under 18 competition as well. So it puts it in a bit of a fix there, Terry Cook. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I can understand why they've done it.
Were they a bit premature?
Because, well, I think they're driven a little bit by our government. And she seemed to think that she was going to shut everything down right from the start, and I just think they probably followed her protocol. I'm not sure. I don't know too much about any of that, but I think they were a bit premature, Obee. I think hopefully we'll be back up running the TRL a week after the NRL, so let's hope that goes ahead. So, yeah, I'm not sure of the Intrust Cup stuff, but I'd just like to give out the condolences to the young fella Cronin that passed away through the week or the week before. What a champion young bloke, Captain Wynnum to a grand final last year, and just the word around rugby league circles is he was a champion and wish his family and all that our condolences from the TRL here ourselves, and I hope the rugby league. Well, I know the rugby league community will certainly rally around his family, and our prayers go out to him.
Yeah, there certainly is a TRL connection in that club, and I endorse your condolences there. But it was sad, Campo, wasn't it?
Oh, mate, tragic. I didn't know. I watched him play a number of times. He was a very good player. Obviously, the captain of the side, so he sorely missed, especially at Wynnum Manly. And yeah, it's really, really sad. It's sad when anyone passes away in rugby league, whether they're whether they're 90-year-old or 5-year-old. It's just it's just not good. And everyone in the community is affected. So look, yeah, again, all our condolences goes out to obviously his family.
And Campo, one thing about the QRL and the Entrust Cup is that the question really, irrespective of playing, is the funding that comes from NRL down to QRL and all those as well. So they're actually going to have the whole year off. So it's
yeah. Well, I just
no real interest will be there, Campo.
Yeah, looking back now, I think the decision was premature, and we're just Northern Rivers competition is going to start up in early May. So look, it's I just think it must have been a financial decision more so than not. And it's just sad that we won't have that competition this year.
Calvin Hawke, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think financially, I think is why they probably did it. They're probably a little bit like, I believe, our local competition. They probably need people there. It's a big cost to fly them round, and I think that was probably one of the main decisions behind it. And also we might have got on top of the curve a little bit sooner than everyone thought. But I still think we're going to be doing it without crowds.
Yeah, because it's quite interesting. Now we had this big gap, guys, between NRL and grassroots levels as where we are. And I did talk to both Frank Martin, the chairman of Mustangs, and also Rex Zeman today. And they did have a TRL board meeting on Monday. And some common sense rules. But first of all, the housekeeping. All the clubs of the TRL can go back and train as of the 1st of June, with the competition starting on the 6th of June. The preferred method is a race to the one round. That'll be fairly fair. But one thing's interesting too is that the board is, and rightly so, I believe, is that there's no sense playing with restricted crowds at our grass levels, because that's where the income comes from. NRL gets their incomes from the television rights. QRL gets funding from NRL and a lesser income through the gate. But there's no sense having a game if the clubs can't get the income, all right, to survive, especially to pay insurances. There, Nev Cherry.
Well, Obee, answer this for me. If there was a game down at Gatton, a game out at Dolby, out at Wattles, Oakey, Inner Valleys, how would you keep people away? There's no way in the world that they'd find a way to get in there. It's just so, mate. If we're playing the competition, we will have crowds there, whether we like it or not, because people will just turn up.
Yeah, Terry Cook, I think it's going to be a benefit because given that there's no Q Cup there as well, and the crowds are just going to be yearning for some live footy. But on the other side of the coin, we're going to have crowds that may be still in fear of the virus.
No, I'm on Neville's side. I think they'll tear the fences down to get in.
They will do.
Exactly.
Because
Kelvin?
They might try to, but I think the rule will be, like they're talking that we mightn't even have crowds at this year's Melbourne Cup, so I can't see how we're going to have crowds at football. And if there's no crowds at local football, we can't play. I'd love to play.
Yeah, exactly.
But realistically, have a look at the cost. I'm just thinking of Gatton, and after we spoke about it last week, you've got your insurances, you've got, I don't know about other clubs, but I know how much it costs getting strapping. The players are still when they want strapping. We've got to pay for lights for training. There's affiliation fees.
I'm still paying for my strapping at Gatton.
That doesn't happen anymore, Cookie. They get given their strapping here now.
I'm
I'd
still
love
paying
to
for
play,
it.
but I'm worried about finances. You could send some clubs to put.
And Campo,
true.
Certainly at the Gold Coast, Campo, with there being just the Titans and no Intrust Cup. Tell me about the crowds at that Gold Coast competition. You think that they would benefit because you've got a larger population who's just yearning for rugby league?
Yeah, well, you'd have to think that the guys not in that 25 man squad in the elite at the Titans, most of those guys would go back to the Intrust, and then they would be farmed out to the local competition. So, if it does get back up and running, the local competition, there's going to be some tremendous players showing their worth, around town. So, hopefully that could bring the crowds into the gate. But look, it's still up in the air on how many people you're going to be allowed at these games.
Yeah, but
Tell
certainly
me this,
you've got a point
Campo.
there, Nev Cherry.
Excuse me, Obee. Can I just say one thing to Campo? Yep. Tell me this, Campo. Are the New South Wales rules, you reckon, will be more relaxed of letting crowds in than Queensland, or which way would you go would be the first to let crowds in?
Oh, well, I think New South Wales, like I coached down at Balamba last year, and you know what it's like down there. It's country footy. But, they still need the crowds to come through like every other local club. We're talking about this last week, Serena and Toowoomba in the Mackay competition and Toowoomba. They need people through the gates to be able to survive. So if they're going to have security on the gates and turning people away, it's going to be very difficult.
But,
storm the place.
Yeah. Well, no, I'll go to you, Nev. One thing that's going to benefit us is that we're going to have players like Mitchell Carpenter coming back to Pittsburgh. Josh Chappell will go back to Dalby. We're going to have Darcy Morosky probably come back to Highfields. They're the ones that think. So it's going to be more attractive, and hence we're going to have a bumper audience, aren't we, Neville?
Oh, we certainly are, and that just changed all those three players in itself, Obee. Just changed the whole dynamic of the competition. And, mate, on the other side, how many players are out there to say, you know what, this year's done and dusted, I'll have the rest of the year off. I've put so much effort into the pre-season for no reward, I'll have the rest of the year off and come back next year. So it's a total unknown, but, mate, there's going to be plenty of surprises, which makes for a great competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Gatton, for example, Kelvin Hawke might get someone like James Robinson back from Wynnum Manly.
Oh, that's for sure. And there's some young, and we had a really good 18 side this year. That a lot of those 20s have gone to other clubs that could probably come back and play with the Hawks. So yeah, if we can get there, it'd be great. But as I keep saying, and how many people are going to let in? And if we're going to play in all grades, that'll take up your numbers. I just don't know how we're going to play without crowds.
Yeah, well, I think we all agree that, and look, TRL have officially come out and said no crowds, no competition, and that was the directive on on Monday. So that's what it is, Cookie. But I don't think we thought about it before we came on air about the benefit it's going to be at the grassroots, Cookie.
Well, let's hope they lift a few of the bans, because I tell you, I've got a hotel, and I'd love a crowd. I'm over this isolation business because
exactly right. I can tell, mate, because
I'd love to see.
You're used to talking to the dog because it hasn't bloody shut up since we've been on, mate, and it just loves talking to you in isolation.
Well, at least she understands me. You blokes probably don't.
Anyway, a bit of the sports show. We did ask everyone's isolation partners there today. Mine, and one had to be a rugby league player, dead or alive, current or past, a rugby league commentator, and a non-rugby league sports person, all dead or alive. My three was Wally Lewis, the king. He's just a legend in his own lifetime, of course. And just for a bit of fun, I think the other commentator would be Matthew Johns. I think it'd be a party, and we would laugh our heads off. And another one for some stories. And the non-rugby league sportsman would be Shane Warne, as far as I'm concerned. Yours, Cookie?
Mine would be my father, because I'd like to find out a little bit more about his rugby league efforts. The other one, the commentator would be George Doniger. He was a famous commentator outside of Ray Warren, and I would love to hear a lot of his stories. And the other one is Jimmy Barnes, because I love his music and he's a partier.
Yeah, I didn't read the question, Cookie. It had to be a non-rugby league sports person. Jimmy Barnes, he played in the Irish International side with you, Kempo, didn't he?
No, he played garlic football.
Oh, okay, so there you go. Nev Cherry?
I'd say Big Artie Beetson. Like, I think, like, number one, he was an out-and-out champion, man. But you hear stories of him and just the racism and that was directed at him when he first went down to Sydney and how he overcome all that and paved the way for many Indigenous players. So I would say Big Artie. Commentator, I'd have to say Neil O'Brien. Just the symmetry we have with each other, I think, is just top level. That's a dig at you, Obee. Only kidding. And non-playing rugby league, Kieran Perkins. I just loved Kieran Perkins. It just in his heyday, just how he just overcame all obstacles, and he was an out-and-out champion, Kieran Perkins, and the whole nation rode on his back.
So, Nev, that wasn't Taylor Swift doing the barking. Who you got there on your left side?
That's me little fella. He's come down. Mate, he's a good talker, Obee, too. He can auction off, and he loves the footy. He loves commentating around the backyard. So, what's your name?
I don't like doing it.
Shh, don't say that. You know, he say, your name's Brock.
Yeah.
That's a boy. Brock Nev Cherry.
Now, Brock, do you want to be a radio commentating legend like your father?
Do you want to go on the radio?
Wait, on TV?
Oh, no, we're on TV, he's saying. No, he's saying.
I want to go on TV. Over to you, Kelvin Hawke, your isolation partner.
First of all, can I say Nev's a brave man if he wants to be isolated with you, Obee. He's a brave man, braver than me. But, no, my player would be Terry Lamb. I reckon I love Bar. He's just played a tough guy, played every game on a kangaroo tour, and a real win-at-all-cost guy. So Terry Lamb. My commentator was a guy called Ross Lawson. I don't know if any of you guys remember him. He used to have a pub at Goodma, the Waruna Hotel, but he also commentated as a great commentator for radio in the late 70s or mid to late 70s, and I thought he was a really, really good. And I tried to, I don't know about these days, but when I was younger, I tried to model my style and the way he used to call. I thought he was a great caller, and the person that I would, the sports person outside football, it's a swimmer for me as well. It's a female, Tracy Wickham. Tracy's done what she did in the pool.
Good choice.
Absolutely outstanding. She's come through some pretty rough times too, Tracy. So she's my one outside of rugby league.
Yeah, well done, Kelvin. I'm going to take you down to the Brisbane Men of League. They have about 4 or 5 functions every year. I think, Campo, you've been to 1 or 2. And Ross Lawson is always there. So next time I go down, you can come down with us, mate. I'm sure you can afford the $25 for the door. Kevin Campion?
Yeah, look, my rugby league player was Nathan Woods, played with Natty at the Warriors. It's the funniest man that I've ever met, and one of the cheekiest buggers that I've ever met. So he'd keep me amused, that's for sure. Rugby league commentator with the great Rabs Warren, and not only because he's a great commentator, but he'd have some tremendous stories just on rugby league in general. With the people he's met over the years, you just couldn't name them. And the sports person, the non-rugby league sports person would be Maria Sharapova, just for some kisses
Why?
and cuddles, just to keep me warm at night.
Yeah, on your
I
campo,
got Miss Saint listening.
there's no way that Rabs or Nat Wood would get a word in, mate. And you may as well not invite them. Just invite you and Maria Sharapova. So that's very good. Anzac Day is on Saturday. We always remember last year with the Anzac initiative being brought into the comp. We're going to miss it. Your thoughts there, Terry Cook?
So, sorry, what was that one, Obee?
Anzac Day on Saturday, mate.
Yes, I'll be out here at 6 a.m. on the Warrego Highway, saluting to all the past that saved our country. So rest in peace, those men and women and horses that defended our country. So I'll be out there at 6 a.m. having a shot of rum, warm myself up, and respect for those that went before us.
And last year, Nev Cherry, it was great when they did the Anzac Day in Kelvin. We did the Anzac Day down at Gatton. It means something. It does mean something special to me. My great uncle, fought at Gallipoli, Oscar Dunn. So it was well done last year. And we're looking forward to Saturday, Nev Cherry.
Mate, Obee, apart from the grand final day, it was the next best day of the whole year. And it's something that Toowoomba Rugby League's got to run with it from now on. Just, mate, the way the people come out from the community, even the old diggers went to the football, and just the respect that was shown in the community, it was just second to none. We have our march and our celebration from the dawn service through to lunchtime, and, mate, they all look forward to going to that footy. You could just see them streaming in off the street, and, mate, we can't lose that passion. And, mate, here we go for the next 100 years having the footy on Anzac Day.
And last year, Kelvin, it was fantastic at Gatton. There was a huge crowd there. I thought one of the biggest ones we'd seen. I think it was on a Thursday night or something, wasn't it, Kelvin?
Yeah, it was a Thursday last year, yeah, and it was probably the biggest crowd I've seen in Gatton ever, probably. And it was a great night. The Anzac guys were there. We had the last toast. We had the old diggers there with us. It was really good. And I think, didn't we, Obee, win an award recently? It was at the Australia Day Awards that the Hawks took out an award for best community.
Yeah, I think you did too. Yep.
Yes, we did, yeah. Yeah, it was very, very good. And it went back to Lee Wharton days when they won the premiership in 2013. There was a few scallywags leading up to that era. We remember we were getting beaten by hundreds. Kelvin, he got them in their dress codes and so forth. And one of his points was to make sure that the Hawks turned up at the dawn service. And it was a great initiative, wasn't it, Kelvin?
Have done, and they've done it every year since. Yeah, it'll be a thing that we missed this year, and I know the club again. We're looking forward to this year's game on Anzac Day. That's one thing I know. The jerseys are already there, so that'll be a set of jerseys we can keep for next year. But yeah, it's probably sad that we're missing that this year. But I don't know. I'll be like Cookie. I'll hopefully be out there at 6 o'clock or 10 to 6, whatever time we're supposed to be out in the footpath.
And down at the Gold Coast Campo, Currumbin, I know with the Currumbin service down there, they travel from all over Australia and even the world just to attend that Currumbin Anzac Day service, don't they?
They do, mate. Yeah, look, it's a thing that we do every year too. We walk down 4 o'clock in the morning. There's cars lined up, way back to Palm Beach. That's how popular it is to get down there. So look, but we're this Saturday morning we're still going to get on the bike and ride down and just pay some respect down at the Rock, and even though that you're not allowed to go down there, I'm sure there'll be a number of people mulling around down there.
Now, next week's show, guys, the Neville Cookie and myself, and we're going to have Frank Martin, the chairman of the Western Mustangs, to get us up to date on what's happening at that level and what his thoughts moving forward with the Mustangs, and also our own TRL chairman, Rex Zeman. So just around the panel for your last say, over to you, Cookie, first of all.
Yeah, well, goodbye to everyone and stay safe.
You do that at the end of the show, mate. I just want your opinions today.
Oh, on what?
On what we've talked about.
Oh, the whole program? You want me to start from the start again?
What's your thoughts?
Recapping.
I'll come back to you. Over to you, Calvin Hall.
Recapping on the show. Yeah, well, I'm just glad that we're going to get football back in the NRL. I'm really looking forward to it. The Bulldogs flag will go up again on the 28th, and she'll fly proudly for the year. And hopefully we can get back. And I see the Country League in New South Wales are saying they're going to kick off in July. I think if we're going to leave it till July, we're getting a bit late, but hopefully we'll get some local league in as well.
And Kevin Campion, as always, thanks very much. It's nice that you can be involved a bit longer than your 5 or 10 minute spiel on a Sunday. But what's your last say?
Yeah, mate, I'm excited about the NRL starting up again too. I think it's great for the supporters, especially especially the supporters. I think that they're in need of it, and just to give them something to look forward to every week. I think that's a big thing, especially when you're in isolation.
And Campo, just on a note, what was your intentions as far as being involved with rugby league for this season? What were you going to do, and what do you think you'll do next season?
Well, I'm not sure. I was Blamble were going down to the Northern New South Wales competition, so I didn't want to. I wasn't going to coach down there, so I had a few feelers out, looking for something to do, at a higher level. Hopefully back in the Intrust Super Cup. So, that could be something that might eventuate next year.
All right, all the best. Thanks very much for joining us. And Nev Cherry, I think Cookie's been talking to the dog too often.
It's lonely out there in John Darien this time of year. So, mate, Obee, I just got a couple of questions for Kev that I seen come up on Facebook. Number one was when he was involved in that win with Alfie Langer when he come back to, I think, 2002 maybe, when Queensland won. I was just wondering what the vibe was, because out on the field it just looked sensational and everyone was crowded around Alfie. And if Kev can just give me a bit of an insight of what that feeling was like.
Well, it was unbelievable. We really didn't know that Alfie was coming back until, days before the actual game. I think he arrived on a Wednesday, and I think the game was on a Sunday at that stage. So he'd flown in, left on a Monday, and arrived on Wednesday. But yeah, just to be involved in that game, it was a shame that was at QET Stadium up in Brisbane. It would have been better at Lane Park. I think they just shut Lane Park for the new renovation. So, yeah, it would have been a bigger highlight for me. I only played the one game, one Origin at Lane Park, and then we played down in New South Wales and came back for that third one. It was just tremendous just to have Alfie back. I think he's such a legend of the game, and to play an Origin with him was just fantastic.
Mate, I've been scrolling through YouTube, and I just want to ask you this question: are you mates with Shane Webke? You know where I'm going with it, don't you?
We have
Mate, jump on YouTube and have a look for anyone out there and see Campo snot Shane Webke of hell of a beauty. I got it on here on tape, but I don't think it'll come up on the video. And mate, geez, it buckled him.
Webby doesn't let me forget it every time I see him. Don't worry.
I bet he doesn't. So, mate, that's good.
All right, thanks very much, Nev. We'll see you next week. And for the last day, the dog man himself, Terry Cook.
Yeah, goodbye, everyone. God bless you all. Stay safe. Always look after your friends and family. And rugby league football. The greatest game
It's the
of all.
greatest game of all.
That's it. Boom,
See you
boom.
next week, everyone.
See you, mate.